Okay, here we are on the April 19th EAB meeting, Plymouth Township EAB meeting. And our first item on the agenda is March minutes. So let me just, I had that open. Yep, let me share. Okay, that's up. So thanks, Ben, for putting the minutes together. Looks pretty good to me. Any comments, Trish?
Yes.
You're okay with it?
Yes.
I don't recall though. I'm sure that Karen Bramlett was in attendance last month. I think she helped us transition Lynn in during February, but I don't think she came back in March.
I don't remember.
Yeah, that Bill, that sounds correct. I think that was a mistake on my part to leave Karen's name on there.
No, that's fine. That's just a carryover. So yeah, that'd be the only change recommended. So I'll motion to approve the minutes.
Oh, we don't have quorum, right?
In a second. Oh, that's right. We don't. All right. I guess we can do that via email. Good point. Good point. We won't have any real votes tonight anyway. All right. That's fair. Okay. Let's go back to our agenda. Sorry, this laptop is a little awkward because it's not my normal. It's just my most portable. All right, so our agenda included a look at our plastic bag ban. So we mailed, they got mailed out last week, and we've seen responses on our feedback forms. So it's starting to get out, the word is starting to get out there. I think the township put it on the agenda for the public meeting. I don't know, Rick, you didn't happen to notice if it made the agenda? You probably didn't have to go.
For this coming month, we have our staff meeting tomorrow, so
I think it was, yeah, I think they actually put it on the April. I'll go back and look at the April agenda. It's not that important, but that's just another way we get the word out. So the other ask is to see if we can find the apartment management companies, and the finance director believes that one of the department people has a list of apartment buildings, and we could pick off the largest ones and contact their management companies and ask them to post the flyer or email it to their, or somehow distribute it to the tenant. So that'd be the next task, to be able to cover as much of Plymouth as we can. I sent around the workbook with the feedback that we received on the questionnaire. We've got about half and half. I think that, the people who are not in favor of a single-use plastic bag ban will definitely respond to us, telling us not the right thing to do. And we'll probably have the proponents that say, yeah, let's get rid of them. So it's not really meant to be a, what do you call it, a reasonable survey of the township. It's really for just getting input onto what we want to take a look at. So the Ben or Trish, you have any comments on, did you have a chance to look at the feedback? I don't want to speak to any specific statements in the survey or in the feedback, so let's not try to make it too specific, but just your general feel.
A little disappointing, but I did read through, and we have some work to do. I just don't think that everyone understands the scope.
Yep.
And the benefit, but yeah. We
Agreed,
have some work to do.
agreed. I think education is the biggest element of this. And the Montgomery County Plastics, Single-Use Plastics Coalition has multiple townships working on their ordinances over the next, several months. So I think, I'll take that feedback to that meeting next week and see, what type of feedback they're getting. I think it's understandable that we're going to get pushback. There's going to be people that are not happy with the idea of not having access to plastic bags. So it's just I think a matter of a behavioral change, a kind of a cultural change. But you're right, education and knowing that, we're improving the health and welfare of our township stakeholders. Ben, what was your thoughts on any feedback you had a chance to look at?
Yeah, I have sort of the same thoughts, and I think it's good that we just have some feedback to work with. We have a pulse for what everybody's thoughts are from whatever population that is, and that'll really help us move forward and know what we need to educate about and to understand where the challenges are. So I think it's good overall what we got.
And I saw Mike, thanks, Ben. Mike, did you have a chance to look at the feedback? We're not going to speak to any specifics, but your general feel?
No, I'm sorry. I didn't have a chance to look at it. And sorry, I was a little late here too.
Not at all. How about Lynn? Did you have any chance to look at the feedback?
Oh, I think you're on mute.
Sorry about that. I'm on a different device, so it took me a second. I did have a chance to look at the feedback, and I was surprised, to be honest. I really thought there would have been just broadly more support right out of the gate. So kind of the 50-50 split was a little surprising.
And I think it's reasonable to realize that not everybody's going to respond, even if they are a proponent, because we weren't really asking for that type of, it's not a full survey. We didn't make an effort to make sure that this is responded to by as many people as possible. It was really more a catch can type of feedback results. So we aren't using it to make a justification as to whether our township is for it or against it. It's really more to assess the amount of communication and education that will be needed when the ordinance is presented. So I think it helps council prepare for that public meeting and give a head start to be able to know. But in the long run, as we looked at the three surveys from Doylestown, Easttown, and what was the third? They were all majority in favor. So I think we can trust that, it's the right thing to do. And we don't really need to have that kind of specific feedback from all our residents.
Yeah, I think as is often the case with surveys as well, like you tend to get people who feel strongly about the issue one way or the other.
Yep.
And there may be a lot of people who are sort of like lukewarm or in the middle or fine with it, but don't feel strongly about it. So I think, that may be the case. And it's a pretty small end. I mean, it's a couple of dozen people.
And I think even if you had a survey, so, the trick with a survey to do it properly would be to make sure you had a proportional share of your residents. The trick with that would be that if we weren't successful in getting a proportional share of the residents of all stakeholders, then if the majority was against it, would that turn council away from doing this? So I think that was the other, negative of carrying a survey too far would be that we would, if we got the wrong response rate, would we not do this? Are we all feel this is the right thing to do and we want to do it, and it's really a matter of educating our public.
Yeah.
I
good point.
think, Bill, what we had discussed in the past as well is that a lot of the corporations have this on their agenda. So it's being driven from that end as well.
And also we've got larger entities. State of New Jersey, I think it's going to do something about it. As we just saw recently, Wegmans. By the end
Yes,
of the year. So we do have broader support across the nation.
yeah.
Mike, any other input on survey and not survey?
Hey, sorry, I'm on mute here too. No, I was just reading through some of the comments now. I mean, I understand, I guess, some of the people's concerns, but I don't understand. I don't understand why it's not a slam dunk for more people, to be honest with you. But yeah, I guess just different ways of thinking. I mean, my folks were here over the weekend, and they're from New Jersey, and they were saying that their township is trying to implement something similar, and they were like, what are we going to do, blah blah blah. And I was like, guys, you really, this isn't really going to be that big of an inconvenience after you do it for like 2 weeks. You know what I mean? So yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's a behavior change. I remember when grocery stores had a predominance of paper bags, and it was no harder to get groceries out to the car than it was, now with plastic bags. So I don't really get the argument for why grocery shopping with plastic bags is so critical to people's successful shopping. You have a cart, you can load it with your paper bag goods and put it in your car. So I think it's really just a matter of a cultural shift and behavior change that's going to help people get used to it, and it'll become second nature.
Yeah.
At some point. Okay, well, thanks. If you guys have any other, feedback during the coming weeks, definitely, feel free to let's engage via email and see if there's any specific things that will help us tune our education approach, and maybe we need to find another mechanism to help introduce the concept to people. I think the big thing for us is that this gives us a heads up so that when the ordinance is announced and council goes to the public meeting, at least they'll be mentally prepared for some of the input that they're going to get. And the fact that the feedback form is going to draw probably a higher percentage of people against it than for it, at least they'll have that preparation to be able to be, able to respond.
Yeah, agreed.
Cool. That was good. So yeah, I think we're making progress. So that was nice that we were able to get it out in the mailings. Thank you to the finance director and everybody else who helped make it happen. I talked to another township that's trying to do a similar thing just this weekend. He called me and asked me how I got this done. And I said, well, our township mails out, or could mail out, these items. The sewer bills go out every quarter. The business bills were a special request, and they were willing to do it for us. So I said, we have our own printing mechanism, and so we don't have to ship it out for printing, and they had their own paper, and they were willing to afford the mailing cost. And he said, well, I don't have any support like that. I've got to find my own way to get the survey into residents' hands. So I think, in many ways, we're fortunate with what Plymouth has in terms of that capability. The draft ordinance, I have a feeling that I need to go to the draft ordinance and just put Plymouth Township, replace the bracketed sections with Plymouth Township and see if there's any other items that need to be replaced, and then email it to Karen Weiss and ask if, someone in the township can take it to its next step. And I would imagine that would be a review by the solicitor, et cetera. So if I can get that, out next week, I'll send you guys the draft first to be able to review it via email and just say, do you see any mistakes? And fairly quickly turn it around, because I'm not really going to change the template. It's pretty well codified for, us in Southeast PA. And then I'll, forward it to Karen and then ask, for what their process will be, how long would they want the solicitor to review it, and whoever else is in the staff. So let's say, by next month's meeting, we get some feedback on that, we'll be in May, theoretically at any point after May, we would be able to ask for the ordinance to be brought up for public discussion. So maybe in that next couple months, we can look at the feedback results and see if we need any additional education, helping people understand this, have more documentation of where it's done elsewhere, in terms of the benefits that have occurred. And maybe we could invite our friend Farron Savage from Penn Environment back either next month or the month after to kind of help us process, what we have so far. And that would also then give council a little bit extra support so that, if they are ready to bring the ordinance up this summer, we could have them feel prepared. I think typically what people have done in these ordinances is they say that the ordinance will take effect 6 months from the time it's adopted. That gives the retail and businesses time to, use up most of their inventory, get prepared and on ordering paper substitutes and elsewise, preparing for that turnover. So I'm sure there will be some follow-up pushback after the ordinance is adopted, just because, not everybody's going to be informed or aware of the public meeting. But the fact we've got some of the feedback forms and people will have asked for us to keep them up to date on email, that will be another way that our stakeholders, feel like they're part of this process. So even if we don't directly take their comments or respond to their comments directly, they can come and voice them at that public meeting. So, if you guys have ideas on how we should, work with that, definitely keep that in mind. So then we got our favorite topic here. We're going to get to plant more trees this weekend. I know Trish and I have signed up. I didn't get a lot of feedback on the poll I sent out, so I don't know that the Shade Tree group or us are that available this weekend. I did get some feedback that people had other commitments, et cetera, et cetera. So just wanted to see, I got a Ben coming back.
Yeah, and I'll be there. I'll be there, Rick. I'm just trying, like my email from this afternoon implied. I got to figure out whether I'm going to bring my little guy or not with me. So
He's welcome.
okay, great.
I just got, did somebody else come in as a Ben? Do we have two Bens in the room?
This is Andy. Sorry, I was my son's name there.
Andy, how are you doing?
Okay.
Good. We were just talking about the tree planting. Do you know if you're available?
Yeah, I signed up Saturday at 9:30.
Yep, sounds good.
We're gonna be that busy? Go for 2.5 hours? You're saying you're digging holes beforehand.
Yeah, I mean, I hope not, but I don't know. I know Andrew's on it and Trish. I don't know how many from their group's coming, but we will dig the holes ahead of time.
Yeah, last time we had a similar event, 10 trees and around 10 trees, and the holes were dug ahead of time, and it didn't take 2.5 hours, but yeah.
And Andrew, what kind of turnout do you feel from your side? I mean, I think right now I've got 4 signups that people from the EAB and the Shade Tree group, only 4 of us. What's your feeling on your numbers?
Yeah, that's great. Thank you for signing up. We are expecting, I think, 4 or 5 or 6 others not from this group, and also we're expecting some Girl Scouts to come out and help again. They helped us last spring, so we're expecting them and their parents. So hopefully around 20 or 25. But we'll see. Yeah, we'll see how it goes.
Saturday, John McGonigal, who works at Harry Weatherall Park, and I'll be there. The 2 of us will be there, so you can add us to the list. I don't think I'm going to be able to make Sunday, but I'll definitely be there Saturday, and John will be there Saturday.
Great. Thank you.
Hey, Rick, will you open up the bathrooms?
Yeah, yep, we can.
Okay, perfect.
And on the Harriet Weatherall, I guess we go to the main parking lot. Do we know where?
The Butler Pike parking lot, yeah.
And then where will we see the which area are we targeting, or where do we walk from the which way should we walk from the parking lot?
So towards the pavilion and the playground, we're in that same area as I guess it was 2 years ago, along the trail there.
Yep, out in the open.
Yeah, and Andrew, I have you here. The one tree that the one location by the pavilion, we're going to have to move that one. I guess they do a archery program there, and that's kind of where they set up the archers so they shoot away from people walking on the trail. So, so we just might have to find another spot for that. I don't know if that was a special tree or not, but we just have to find another spot.
Okay. Yeah, if you want to not, I guess we can find a spot. Since you'll be there Saturday, we can find a spot and just dig it with a shovel. You don't have to.
Okay.
That one.
And if you want to look at it, let me know. I can dig it on. We're going to dig the holes on Thursday. We got that plan for Thursday. So if you do look at it and see another spot there and you just want to text it to me, I can dig it with the auger. But if not, I can dig it by hand.
Okay. And is everything good with pickup and the check?
Yeah, I got the check here. I just grabbed it today. So we're gonna go down with our enclosed trailer, and then Karen sent me some stuff about dropping the trees off. So I didn't read through the whole thing, but I know you guys are doing something on Friday, which is not a problem. And then we could talk about that tomorrow or Thursday or Friday, how we're going to get them over. I mean, Harriet Weatherall, we could put them in the barn.
Right. Yeah.
So we could talk about that tomorrow.
Okay. Great. Yeah, I think that's the only thing we have to.
Yeah, I didn't read through her email, so I'm not sure what she had in there.
And what was the latest weather forecast for Saturday, Sunday? Did we see?
I think it's going to be nice. I think high 60s and sunny from what I saw.
Well, that'll be a treat.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we had an event this past weekend at Caldwell Park, working with the trees that you guys planted 2 years ago. Gave them some mulch and adjusted stakes and added a bark guard and stuff. They're all looking good. They're all flowering. We replaced one that died from some root lawnmower damage at the base, but we replaced it with another crabapple, and the other ones are looking good.
Oh, good. Success. We didn't kill them. Excellent. Thanks everyone for helping out. We'd love to see your 5-year-old, Mike, if you have a chance.
Yep, I just replied. We'll come. Both of us will be there.
Cool, cool, cool.
Yeah, he'll think it's cool for about 5 minutes, then want to go to the playground.
Yeah.
So with the pre-drilled holes, what kind of dirt work are we gonna want to do? I mean, is it pretty much gonna be, the bare root goes in and we just fill it in?
I mean, that's how I see it.
Yeah. Adjusting the depth of the hole sometimes, just making sure the root flare of the tree is at ground level.
Yep.
Sometimes, digging deeper or adding soil back in before putting the tree in, and then just filling around the roots. That's pretty much it.
And then we've got the stakes and the straps. We're gonna do all that, right?
That's your job, Bill. You're good at the stakes. The sledgehammer.
That's right, man. I should have started bulking up here like a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
I should have started working on those arms. I think I'm a little out of shape, but we'll take turns.
I mean, no doubt the digging of the holes is the biggest, physical effort. So the fact that Rick, you and your crew are going to do that, I mean, the rest is really a piece of cake.
Yeah, that's a big
Yeah.
help. Thanks so much, Rick. That was really,
No problem.
really good.
Yeah, you saved hours and a lot of muscle fatigue
We
for us
learned our lesson.
for us older people.
Right. We learned our lesson at Caldwell Park last year.
Yeah,
It was
Caldwell
not
Park
bad.
was the hardest dirt we'd ever worked on, and
Quick learning crew.
I actually started to faint a couple times.
Yeah. Thank you, Rick.
So Andrew, in terms of the total, what like for a year, what did you guys end up, getting in place last year? I mean, just what's your typical target?
I think we got almost 200 trees and shrubs in last year, throughout the Plymouth White Marsh and Conshohocken area. So
That's pretty impressive.
yeah, this year we're likely gonna pass that because we're getting a lot of smaller trees from an initiative called the 10 Million Trees Project. Some of those are going throughout Plymouth parks. Smaller shrubby trees that like to be along streams and stuff. We'll put in. But yeah, we got in a lot last year, and we planted our first ones. Trish helped plant. PHS, the Pennsylvania Horticultural Society, donated 2 really large trees to us, and asked Rick if we could find a spot, and we planted the honey locust at Harriet Wetherill, so that's in already, and it's already 15-16 feet, but it took a while to plant because it was a big root system. But yeah, we got that one in, and they gave us a service berry that we put in near Sandwood Park. So yeah.
Very nice. Very nice. Good work. Good work. And I know it's a little early to think about the fall, but what's the fall schedule? And is this something we're interested in doing a similar event, or what? I don't want to get too ambitious, but also wanted to see what people's capacity is.
I mean, I'm all for it. Thanks to Andrew and Trish and Karen. I mean, they really helped us out as far as being able to. I have no problem, and I think the township, the council, and has no problem, doing this, each planting season as long as we have the help. So, with Andrew and Trish and Karen's help, I'm willing to do another planting in the fall and just keep it going.
Nice.
Pick
Nice.
some other parks.
Yep. That sounds good.
I know we had suggested the Cardinal View retention basin as well. And that was part of the, I'm probably going to say this acronym wrong, but like the EV or EB3 initiative. It's like riparian restoration, kind of if you look at what they did on Chemical Road beside Cracker Barrel, where they planted all those trees where Plymouth Creek kind of overflows. Karen was kind of on board for something like that, but I think we had to get some kind of approval and she was going to kind of work on that. So I guess, that we can kind of maybe put on the agenda because that's a rather large area. We could plant a lot of stuff in there. Rick, do you know anything about that?
I do. So the DEP, they changed I guess there's a new, what they call MS4 permit, which is like the stormwater permits for each municipality. And they're looking for places that so that basin, not to get too crazy, but that basin has, it has like spillways. It has concrete spillways from the inlet structure to the outlet structure, which kind of like diverts the water right in and right out, or tries to. So part of that project, I think it might be a little bit bigger than something we want to take on, because those spillways have to come out to meet the new requirements. And that was a spot that was kind of, earmarked to do a planning in there, but a very large scale planning.
Okay.
so-
I was not aware of that. So, all
Yeah,
right, that's
there's
fine.
there's a few other requirements as far as the inlet outlet structures and the those concrete spillways. So,
Where is that?
we can it's in Cardinal View. As soon as you come in off of Caldwell, I guess that's Scarlet Drive. It's the big retention basin there. As you come into that neighborhood.
Got it. Okay.
But we do have some other smaller, we have a smaller basin here at the community center. And there's other parks. I mean, we have like, I think 12 or 13 parks. So we have other places that we could plant.
Okay. It just seems like there's a lot of places, like Andrew said, the 10 million trees project, and Pico's giving away stuff. And I mean, this whole green initiative, there's a ton of stuff to be had for free if we can find spots for it. So we
Sure.
can just keep that in mind.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
I think his computer died.
Bill.
Oh, he said Bill said he was in his car outside of his father's house because his dad didn't have Wi-Fi or something. So we may have lost him.
Yeah. I can't even remember what was on the agenda, if there was anything else.
So what do you guys talked about the plastic ban,
Yes.
bag ban already? Okay. Next, he has a township day, if there's nothing else
Yeah.
on tree planting.
On the Township Day, it's Saturday. I don't even know the date. I guess it's
Saturday,
Saturday,
June 4th.
June 4th. Yeah, 10 to 2, Eastmont Valley Park. I'm sure you guys will have, EAB will have a table there. I don't know if there's, I don't know. Lynn, are they doing the beer garden? Is that a done deal, or is that something we're not sure about yet?
I think it's a go. The last I
Okay.
heard, the beer garden's a go. So
So that'll be something different at Plymouth Township Day this year, is the beer garden.
yeah.
See how that goes. I'm sure it'll be popular.
hmm
Do we want to be close to the beer garden or not?
I don't know. I guess it's better to be closer to the beer garden than it is to the speakers on the
Yeah.
DJ.
We probably won't have a problem getting volunteers for the beer garden.
I actually think Franzone's, at least I heard Franzone's was going to run the beer garden. I don't know if that changed, but that was earlier. So,
Okay, nice.
So- That was the last I heard as well.
yeah. I know that, Bill sometimes has on there for like just updates on projects that we have. We did start the township renovation project that started actually I guess officially it started last week, but they brought their trailers in, they put the temporary construction fencing up. They have pretty much, well, not pretty much, they've gutted other than the asbestos removal, but they've gutted the auditorium and a lot of the admin wing. We moved the admin to the engineering wing last week. So that project's started. That's I think it's probably about a 16-month project. So that's underway. We're working on the East Plymouth Valley Playground project. That's a replacement of the existing playground to a what they call an inclusive playground. So it'll be a real nice addition to the park. It'll be our first inclusive playground in the township, so that's nice.
You guys putting batting cages there or something?
So actually, yeah, the Little League is putting in batting cages there at East Plymouth Valley Park. Yeah,
I called in.
Oh, hey, Bill.
we're just
Hi,
Sorry
Bill.
about that.
That's okay.
I had a laptop that ran out of battery and I didn't notice fast enough. Apologize there. What did I miss?
We just talked about Plymouth Township Day, and I was just giving an update on some of the projects we have going on right now.
Great.
I didn't have the agenda.
Sounds good. Why don't you continue, Rick?
Yeah, so the township building renovation project has started. The EPV playground replacement is going. I think we have a delivery date of the equipment. I think it's May 11th, but that's not the installation date. It's it's going to depend on when the contractor frees up. But I'm pretty confident that hopefully by the end of the summer. I don't want to jinx this, but hopefully by the end of the summer it'll be in. And just some minor things. We redid the sand volleyball courts here at the community center park. We installed, you guys will see it on Saturday, we installed a rain garden at Harriet Weatherall Park. It's almost done. It's not planted yet. I think next Wednesday is when they are going to plant that. So probably won't be done before we get there. That's all that comes to mind right now.
You're as busy as ever, aren't you?
Pretty busy right now. Yeah. I mean, we're busy in the spring anyway, but yeah, it's, that's when everything starts up, all the fields, all the leagues, opening up the bathrooms, turning the water on, all that kind of stuff. That's just our normal, operation of the parks. But yeah, so we're pretty busy in the springtime.
Rick, I was intrigued by how much they tore up the middle school, like the fields around there. Is that related to the township building or is that related to the middle school?
That's related to the middle school. Yeah. So they, the new school's built, the kids are in, now they're demoing the old school. And they had to move all the, I guess the construction material and supplies out to that front where the baseball field was. But that eventually, once the middle school goes, there will be fields out front there.
Cool.
Yeah, they'll have to regrade that. They got a lot. I don't know what they're going to do. They have giant piles of rocks. So I don't know how that's going to be regraded.
A lot of material.
Yeah. So yeah, that front section will be a few fields. Football field will still be there, but they took away a soccer field and a baseball field out back where they built the school. Well, I think maybe 2 soccer fields and a baseball field where they built the school. So they'll install them out front.
Got it. Cool.
And sorry if I missed it. What was the update on the Muni building rehab?
It's underway. The contractors got their notice to proceed a couple weeks ago, and they are in, they're doing some demo right now. The auditorium's demoed and the admin wing is demoed. Thursday they start the asbestos abatement, and that'll probably go for 2 weeks in those areas.
And what was the planning for the geothermal? How when is that? What's the timing for?
The well drill, I think, is July. They couldn't get anybody before July, so they'll start drilling the wells in July. I don't know. There's a lot of lead time issues with materials. Some things are, 8 months. So I don't know whether or not that system will be up and running for the winter. I hope it is, but I don't know. But they'll start drilling the wells in July.
Did the hot water heater fail, or what was the situation last year where you couldn't get heat in some offices?
Our boiler, that was actually 2 years ago. Our boiler, it's an electric boiler. It's 50 something years old. We couldn't find any parts for it. Finally, we found in Tennessee, and we got them overnight and got it fixed. But yeah, that's my fear. We're kind of on borrowed time with that thing, and hopefully we'll have the geothermal up and running for this winter. But I'm not real confident of that.
Yeah, no, well, best wishes on pulling all that together. I'm sure with the supply chain and all the other issues in the construction industry, it's tough on everybody.
Yeah.
So I guess next month we can talk about planning for Township Day. Is there any different plans for it this year? Or are you pretty much doing similar layout as the past years?
So I think it'll be similar. I was telling everyone they are having a beer garden this year, which is different than in years past. So I know they have to keep that kind of separate from everything. I don't know. I haven't seen any layouts of how they're going to do that, but that could alter the normal configuration of everything. But that's I haven't seen anything yet.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like a good logistical setup there to get everybody in a good spot.
Right.
So I guess the only other item I had on there was request for 2023 if we can apply for some grants. So we do the best search that we could to make sure that it's the most cost effective for the township. So I guess we had 3 or 2 that I'm aware of: the Pico Green Region Grant and the Monco 2040. I'm sure there are others that we could research. I don't know that we've got all of the talent and skills to be able to find the best opportunities for funding. So I'm not sure if the township has any resources that help them find those type of opportunities, or what's the typical process in the past, Rick?
We know that the Pico has their grant. We've gotten that quite a few times in the past. I'm not aware of the Monco 2040 grant. I'm not sure what's involved in that. We currently have a grant for the East Plymouth Valley, $250,000 grant for the East Plymouth Valley Playground Project. That's that's open right now. So I guess it depends on what type of projects you're talking about. If they're parks projects, that whole thing we talked about before, you have to have some shovel ready projects. They got to be ready to go. So I guess in the past, we've looked at our capital budget and seen what projects are, in the queue, and then, apply for grants that way. So, I mean, I don't know if that answers your question or not, but I guess we'd have to see what, what type of projects you're interested in.
Well, I was thinking, the trail plan is part of the comp plan that was updated. What was that, back in 2018, 2019? I think they codified the comp plan, so we could go back to that comp plan and look at which segment of the trail we might want to start on. I just suggested, an email maybe between the community center and the mall. So that's just one area to look at. Then the Montco 2040, we could look at what kind of projects past applications and winners have targeted, so we could see what would be a good fit for us. And then I believe there might still be money for EV charging stations, and probably something we haven't yet tackled in terms of proposing. I know you've got the township building, at least the parking lot will be wired enough that they could put charging in the future, but it might be nice to have at least one or two, maybe at the community center and or the township building in the next couple of years to kind of get that started, initiated. So I think, we could look at what matching pieces of those would need some help from the township, and maybe put together a proposal to ask for that to be added to the 2023 budget. So, when do the departments have to have their input to the next budget cycle so we don't miss it?
Our budgets are due in August.
August.
Yeah,
So we've got a few months. Maybe by next month we could do some research and see what's included or what the project types are in the Montco 2040. And if there's any others, maybe the electric charging, we could do some research and find out from other townships how they applied for that. And then we could maybe pull together a proposal to ask for that to be included in the 2023 budget.
Okay.
Any other topics anyone else wanted to bring up?
Bill, it's Andy. No, well, I was just hoping to talk a little bit about the Township Day. I know we had talked about in the past maybe trying to make it a little more focused and what topics we want to cover with whatever presentations we have. Is that still something that people wanted to do, and at least just high level, maybe what topics, or throw out the ideas on some different topics so that next month when we get around to it, we can really work through it a little more quickly. I think I'd like to try to cover some of that here tonight if possible.
Yeah, that's a good point, Andy, to kind of focus on some different topic areas that would be relatively helpful to pull together for our township residents. I guess depending on now that we've announced the plastic study, I think that anyone who's read that, and sees us at the Township Day might come over to ask us about it. So I guess it would be good that we had some educational material for what we're looking into. So maybe we ought to figure out what would be an appropriate way to convey that. That'd probably be one area we need to be prepared for. And we've done recycling in the past. We've done the solar in the past, rooftop solar. We've talked about our Ready for 100 program, transitioning to renewable energy. What were the other subjects we had on our table in past years? Anybody have any other additions that we did?
Cycling, I think you did.
I'm sorry, what was that, Rick?
I think you guys did recycling one year.
Yep. We did have a
Mhm.
recycling.
2 or 3 years ago, right? The 2040 plan was, I think you had a bunch of charts or something on that or papers out on that.
Yep.
Mm,
So if we talk about recycling and the plastics, that could be a good tie together. The game that Eunice has created for the kids, I remember she had a spin wheel. I'm just trying to remember was that focused on recycling or was that on a different?
Yeah, I think that was recycling. It was, is this recyclable or not? I think it was.
I think you're right.
That's right. Yep. And that brought a lot more interest over to our table. At least families with kids came over. Then we had a chance to chat with a few of them. So yeah, we could maybe start an email thread to say, here are the topics that are open to us. Which ones do we want to pull together, focus on, get some materials for? I guess a couple of things we had last time that maybe also brought people's attention to the table is a lot of times maybe people are uncomfortable walking up to us if we're standing there at the table, but they see the posters we had on the tripods, and at least there's something eye-catchy, and it may raise some curiosity. So we had some posters. Your solar poster was kind of a good one, and I forget what the other one was, but those can be useful to help people feel something they're interested in. So yeah, this will be a good ask as to what would be good to put in front of people. Well, we could also have the tree planting. The fact that we've been involved in the tree plantings, that can also bring people interest in. What are your thoughts?
I was gonna say, I thought the tree planting might be good, and maybe something on tree care or something like that. Just through Andrew's group there, Colonial Canopy. I think it's something that's kind of gaining some traction in the township here. So something like that might. It's also not too controversial or anything, right? So people shouldn't be too scared about talking about planting trees or tree care, right? That's just helpful information.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did. Sorry, we did a
Go ahead, Ben.
demonstration last year at White Marsh Township Day where we had the proper way to mulch a tree, and then right next to it like a mulch volcano, where the mulch is like piled up against the trunk of the tree. That's considered the wrong way and potentially harmful to the tree. So we just had that right next to the booth. We had a little sign that said like the proper way to mulch your trees, pull the mulch away from the trunk. So something small like that, maybe.
I
Yeah,
think also
that's a good,
maybe, go ahead.
go ahead. No, go ahead, Trish.
So I think also maybe some of the native plants that we're getting and planting, and the caterpillars and the butterflies and the pollinators and the birds that they support, like not the whole gamut, but maybe just select 2 or 3 of the native shrubs that we're trying to bring back, and what the benefit of bringing back those native plants are for these insects and butterflies and whatnot.
Yeah, that's good.
Because everyone loves butterflies, right?
Yeah. Now we got the butterfly garden and the parrot weatherall.
Yeah.
And
the rain garden.
the rain garden.
I'm actually making one in Sandwood Park, so we're going to have a nice butterfly garden there as well.
So we could have a set of pictures maybe showing the different attributes of different parks in case not all families have been to all parks in Plymouth. We could highlight maybe some of the, nicer or kind of appealing areas that say, have you ever, had a chance to look at this or find these, there's those challenges they do in the county and elsewhere where they challenge people to visit as many trails in the county as possible. We could maybe find some way to incentivize people to visit, more of the parks in Plymouth. I know I
Absolutely.
haven't.
And can you find this bush? And if you find this bush, here's the flower, here's the fruit, here's the caterpillar, here's the butterfly. Do you see any of these things when you're there? Just a suggestion, but yeah, it's something interactive that parents and their kids can do together, on a nice sunny afternoon that they're out and about.
Yeah, and we actually put some of our content online last year, so we had QR codes. Mike helped us get QR codes for our, so we didn't have to end up paper. We could put a lot of those guides to how to take care of trees, plants, visit the parks, find these, different attributes. We could have that all electronic and have different QR codes for each of those guides, and then we won't be handing out too much paper.
That's a fantastic idea.
And also maybe the guide to the trees in Plymouth. I think knowing the difference between a native tree or a non-native tree, there is a little bit of, it would kind of help me understand it better if I had a picture to know, what is a good, native tree or plants, things like that, or highlight where we have planted trees. Say, have you noticed these new trees in these parks since 2019 or whenever? And that could help maybe people get interested in doing it in the future.
Absolutely.
I have a thought. There'd be a cost attached, so I'm cautious about suggesting it. But in a corporate setting in the past for like Earth Day, we had given away seedlings. Really, when I say seedlings, they're like, 10 inches tall and barely, thicker than a toothpick, like really tiny ones. And they weren't terribly expensive, but they were pretty popular. People loved to take them home and plant them in their yard. And years later, they'd send us pictures of their seedling. And I know at things like Township Day, it's always a draw when there's like something you're giving away or something you can win. It would also sort of advance the cause, right? If you're giving away seedlings, native trees, seedlings that people could plant in their yards. So, again, I don't know about budget and whatnot, but maybe something like that. And you perhaps couldn't give one to every single person that visited, but maybe it's the first 50 people or anybody who engages with you at the booth gets a seedling. Maybe something like that would just be attractive. Fun.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I agree. Or a flower, a native flower, a pollinate, like a bee balm, a monarda, or, some kind of native flower too. Might not be as expensive. Not everyone has room for a tree, but everyone has room for a flower. So definitely something to bounce around. And I like the idea. Absolutely. Everyone likes to walk away with something, especially with their kid. I'm going to plant this with my kid. My kid's going to plant it with their grandmom. And, 30 years from now, when grandmom isn't around, we have this tree or this whatever that we planted together. So absolutely 100% behind that idea.
Cool.
We did do that.
Andrew,
10 or 15 years ago, we gave out seedlings and it was real popular. So I think that's something that could be revisited.
I liked it.
Yeah. Andrew Comboy, has there been any seedling programs that you've seen giveaways in any of our region?
Not that I can remember. I know, I guess the trees that Pico gives away, Pico does a tree giveaway every spring. They're usually tall, so I think that's a little larger than what we would want. I don't know. I don't really know.
Well, these are great ideas, something to think about.
Are there any local
Good idea.
nurseries that might help
Well,
us?
I was just going to say that I actually work for a garden center part-time. So let me see what I can do there. Maybe they'll donate them. I work for Primex in Glenside. So yeah, maybe I can get him to donate a couple flats and we can give them away. I'll see what I can do there. Or, even, if worst comes to worst, get them at my discount. I get 30% off. So yeah, to get 50 plants is really inexpensive.
Mhm.
50 trees, maybe a little more, but 50 plants is pretty inexpensive.
Mhm.
So I will, if you want to put that on, the task list or on the agenda, I can definitely look into that and get back to you guys. Bill, I can get back to everyone via email sooner than the next
Yeah.
meeting, but definitely have something to discuss at the next meeting.
Cool. Those are great ideas. Yeah, let's brainstorm and see what we can pull together. That'd be excellent. And even just getting pictures of some of the attributes of our parks and having an ability to give electronic access to people to see some different highlights of different parks might be an interesting idea. Rick, do we have any real record of pictures of parks or anything in the background that has been done like that?
As far as like trees
Like
that we're planting?
having like a photographic guide to the parks or whatever?
Yeah, we have, I would say like in the previous parks comp plan, it lists all the parks and all the different amenities and things like that. Yeah, I mean, we do have that.
All right. Well, we got some good resources. I was over at Hatfield DAC last week, telling them about Ready for 100, and they said that one of their activities is that they have a plant exchange. So a lot of people who have, a lot of extra growth, either their shrubbery or their flowers end up proliferating more than what they need, they can bring their excess to this exchange, and anyone who brings their stuff can take other stuff away. So they have like a day that they set aside to have this exchange program, and the EAC runs it. So that was kind of an interesting idea.
Yeah, plant swap. There's a lot of communities that are doing that right now. Yeah,
Yeah.
if you don't have anything to give, you don't have to give anything this time, but you can take something. But the general idea is that you bring something and you take something. So yeah, a plant swap.
That's cool. All right, we got some good projects for our future. All right. Well, anything else anyone wanted to mention?
Yeah. Bill, if it's okay if I just mention one other quick things. I was thinking about this as we were having this conversation, you're talking about garden centers. And I'll just toss it out there, and you can shoot it down, you can think about it. But when I was out knocking on doors campaigning, I heard there were a few people, I mean, not dozens, but a handful of people who commented about like our parks. And their comments were like, our parks are lovely, but like, wouldn't it be great if there were even more like beautiful plants and shrubs? And I mean, I think our folks do a fabulous job on our parks, but it made me think about an opportunity maybe to partner with local garden centers. Like, what if we gave a 10 by 10 corner, in a park to any garden center who wants it, Plymouth Garden Center. So they can go in there and they would plant it out, and then it's also their job to maintain it, because there'd be a point of pride that there's a little sign that says, generously donated by, and the name of the garden center. And we could we could ask a number of garden centers. We don't have to be exclusive. I mean, anybody who wants to participate, we'll give them a little square, whether it's at Harriet Wetherell or the community center, but give them a small square to plant and take care of. And then it also serves as, some advertising. You can see the beautiful plants, that Rhodes Garden has provided. And maybe that's a source of inspiration for people to shop there.
110% behind that. And I think you would get a lot of turnout because they get to put their sign there, like you said, and that is what they do, and they love what they do, and they love flowers and plants, and they want to be part of the community and making it. And it's a small investment for the advertisement.
Mhm.
So great idea.
Yeah,
Cool.
Neat.
agree.
And as a township, we could even
Right.
take control of things like the signage just to make sure it doesn't get out of control and whatever billboards. Like, we could provide like really like nicely done, like small, elegant signs that recognize the garden center and are all branded so it looks like the township. But anyway, just a thought.
Yeah.
Glad you like it. And if there's
Yeah.
anything I can do to help, I'd be happy to.
Neat ideas. Thanks, Lynn. Good discussion. Good topics. So I think we're probably reaching near our end, aren't we? Any motions to close?
I'll motion to close.
I'll second.
That was Trish and Mike.
Yes,
Yes.
sir.
Cool. Because I can't see too much. But yeah, great discussion, everyone. Thanks so much.